This is Qtv News. I am Maria Masani and thanks for joining us. As Muslims around the world celebrate the Islamic New Year amidst the coronavirus pandemic, we wish the Muslim Ummah a happy and safe Yawm al-Ashura. Now the main local, international and sports news headlines. The maternity at Buyam General Hospital is given a significant donation of medical equipment. Weeks after they were supposed to have started, students at the Gambia Technical Training Institute have said their online classes are yet to commence. The Buntung Kono initiative donates 4,000 bags of rice and sugar to municipal councils to be distributed to the less privileged. We hear about a police crackdown on fake number plates. In international news, African-American actor Chadwick Boseman, who played the title role in film Black Panther, has died. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe steps down citing health reasons. We look back on his career. In sports news, Ivorian football legend Didier Drogba is once again rebuked by his country's football association, this time for the job at the head of the association. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in details. In local news, over $6 million worth of medical items were donated on Wednesday to the maternity ward of Buyam General Hospital by Join the Hands to Save a Baby's Foundation. Amadou Oba attended the presentation and he now reports.
The medical items include 4 new incubators, items for babies amongst others. This donation was preceded by a general renovation of the neonatal unit at the hospital's maternity ward, which is now fully equipped with the incubators to provide urgently needed neonatal care. The project coordinator, Join Hands to Save a Baby, Abdullahi Baji, expressed gratitude to Fonyi Agency for Rural Development, the National Assembly members and the hospital management for their support and commitment.
I started this project since 2013. She has been sacrificing these resources. You get everything you sacrifice this morning is where you're working both day and night to make sure these things are done.
Dr. Mamadi Cham, the Chief Executive Officer of Buyam General Hospital, said the donated items will go a long way towards improving the lives of babies. He said that amidst the COVID-19 outbreak, his hospital hasn't registered any maternal death for the year 2020. Dr. Cham challenged the health system in the country to be prepared and expect more babies this year as people are forced to stay at home due to the COVID-19 movement restrictions.
Neonatal care unit is only available in AFSTA and Bundu. There is none out of this from there. Any baby who needs neonatal care will have to be transported to Banyu or may die. That is sad.
Langtombon Tamba, the chairman of FAD, and Musa Amul Nyasi, National Assembly member for Fonyi Councillor, both expressed gratitude to the donor and called on other organizations for partnership to promote rural development. Nyasi further commended the hospital CEO for his tremendous ability in transforming the Buyam General Hospital to meet standards.
FAD is honored to be part of this presentation and will do everything within its limit to encourage and support Amijadi in our venture so that together we can make a big difference in the livelihood of our people.
And there will be no room without those 2 highlighted conditions, that is reaching his retirement age or requesting to be transferred. Under no circumstances will the people of Fonyi allow the ministry to transfer Dr. Mamadi Cham out of the 4 corners of this hospital.
The head of the maternity ward at the hospital, Aissatou Fall, expressed gratitude to the donors and partners and gave an assurance that the equipment will be used judiciously.
We wish to say thank you, and we wish to implore her to continue the good work, and to all those that support her. We pray for you, for your long life, and for continuous prosperity, because their prosperity in extension becomes ours.
Join Hands to Save a Baby is a foundation that is out to minimize and eradicate neonatal deaths in the country. The CEO, Ami Jaju, who resides in the UK, was inspired to establish the foundation in 2013 following a visit to Brikama Health Center and seeing that the maternity ward was below standard. For QTV News, I am Amadou Oba.
Following the launch of online classes by the government for students of some institutions in the country, the students of the Gambia Technical Training Institute have said they are yet to commence online classes. Omar Pijalo went to find out what is causing the delay, and he now reports.
When do you think we can start these classes? Can you give us a day? Can you give us a date that we can report back to our students that this day we are going to start the online classes? But they have never responded to the question. They will just tell us that they are working on it. If they are working on it and we are not seeing anything out of it, are they working on it? Because we expect if you are working on something, the product will come out of it.
The student representative, who appears frustrated at the turn of events, challenged the school administration to come out openly and explain to them why they are yet to start the online classes. The administration promised 1.5 gigabytes to each student, and the lecturers also expected to be provided with a laptop and a data card each. But again, nothing has been provided.
Your children are crying. Where are you? Your students are crying. Where are you? Please come forward. Help us. Let us have our effective online classes.
According to the student, they expect the government to liaise with the school administration as soon as possible and solve the problems.
Students will go to a point whereby they will say that they will radicalize things. But as students leaders, we do not want that to come out. We still plead with our students to calm down and give us time to work it out in a more matured way with the management, because they are the ones that are leading us.
Responding to the claims made by the students, Edward Mansell, the Director General of GTTI, said after receiving the money, they negotiated with GSM operators for free internet access.
GTTI is a little bit different from other academia programs in the sense that this is a hands-on. Even if we are going to conduct online classes, they would still need their practicals. So the online classes that we are organized is just to be able to touch base with the students, to keep them busy during the holidays. Because you cannot give half of the students online classes while the other half are not having classes. Those in the provinces cannot access. So what we told them was, when they come back, they're still going to go through the third term academic year, which is face-to-face before they graduate.
DG Mansell further explained that
students themselves shouting. We have almost 34% of the students who have not paid their tuition fees. As I am speaking, I can attest that we have over $5 million outside. And TVET, it's capital intensive. It involves a lot of training. So where would you get this regular amount to be able to top up what the government is giving?
The permanent secretary at the Ministry of Higher Education, Mod A.K. Seka, said GTTI were given $1.2 million for these courses.
All the higher institutions under our purview have benefited, including, of course, GTTI. So they did. It was $1.2 million.
The government's initiative was to ensure that students did not miss a semester or a year as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. However, its effectiveness will depend on the widespread and equitable application of the scheme. For now, GTTI students and lecturers remain in limbo. Reporting for Qtv News, I am Omar Pijalo.
The Buntung Kono initiative, spearheaded by lawyer Usainu Dabo on Thursday, donated 4,000 bags of rice and sugar through municipal councils to be distributed to the less privileged across the country. Lolly M. Kamara attended the event, and she now reports.
Amidst the coronavirus pandemic and the emergency restrictions imposed by the government, the leader United Democratic Party, lawyer Usainu Dabo, explained the motive for the Buntung Kono COVID-19 Relief Support Initiative, said he launched the project in mid-April with the ultimate aim of supporting people in need of help at this time of COVID-19. According to lawyer Dabo, the gesture is entirely humanitarian support and has nothing to do with politics or UDP, and thank all those who supported him in supporting the underprivileged.
Gambians at that time did not know what was going to be their situations as far as food was concerned, because there were restrictions imposed and the ordinary people could not go about fending for themselves. So I launched the COVID-19 so as to raise funds and indeed to also receive donations in kind to help the needy and the vulnerable. At the day I was launching it, I made it abundantly clear that this has nothing to do with my party, United Democratic Party. It has nothing to do with it.
Demba Ali Jawo, a member of the Buntung Kono initiative, outlined the importance of such service, pointing out that no amount of support is small, especially at this time of the rainy season amidst the pandemic.
So we decided to come together to assist him and to assist all Gambians, because this is a very, very good initiative, especially this time of the year. We all know what we know the month of August for in this country. That is the month for hunger in this country. And if anybody can be able to do this kind of an initiative and distribute food to the needy, I think that should be commendable. So I in particular, and I'm sure members of the committee also, are very enthusiastic in being members of this committee and be associated with this noble initiative.
Receiving the items, the CEO of Kanifi Municipal Council and Brikama Area Council applauded the timely intervention of the Buntung Kono initiative and thanked lawyer Usainu Dabo. According to the Buntung Kono COVID-19 Support Committee, the distributions will continue to other regions across the country in the next few days. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
We will go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, the news continues with some more local international sports news. Do stay tuned.
Right time, right place, right price. Promote your product, business, and brand to millions of viewers nationwide or across the globe. Call QTV Marketing on 32444444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm for all your advertisement needs. QTV Gambia, right place.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News. Power and water cuts continue to be a nightmare for Gambians, particularly at night. Recently, things took a turn for the worse, with customers experiencing severe electricity shortages at the very time when everyone is asked to stay home, during the 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew. Our colleague Babukar C has been finding out the reasons for this unfortunate occurrence hitting the public during these difficult times. Here is his report.
According to the Public Relations Officer of the Gambian National Water and Electricity Company, NAWEC, Pierre Silva, the recent power cuts were caused by a problem detected in one of the car power ships, as a result of which it had to shut down while a solution was found for the problem.
The line that is connected to one of them had a technical problem, and because of that, we cannot continue running that machine because it cannot evacuate power. So we had to shut that one engine and try to troubleshoot, to patrol the line to see where the fault was. That was the time that we have some electricity deficit. And during that period, one of our big engines, the new engine in Koto Power Station G5, has developed some unusual signals from it. So it was also important that we take it out of the grid and try to see what was wrong with it. So as you know, we are firefighting because the demand for electricity is far more than what we evacuate. So you can imagine if one or two engines are out, the load shedding will be very severe.
Pierre Silva went on to explain that even if all the machines are working, the demand is still higher than what they can supply. According to him, the new managing director is engaging the Ministry of Energy and the Gambia government to order parts for the engine equipment needed to start some of the engines that are down.
They are now using our business partners who supply these materials to us to make sure that we get these in town as soon as possible. But as we speak, some of them are so big, so heavy, that we cannot transport them by air. So most the light ones will be air freighted, but the big ones will come through the river. Already we have made some progress in it. One of the engines that we are down with is G8 in Brikama. Its materials are already here. The repair has been done and completed. The other one the other one which is G3, we anticipate having the materials by the end of next week. already the engineers have started dismantling the power. We only have the problem during the peak period, which is in the evening, because during that period you would see that the demand would be something like 70 megawatts. And if we put all the power stations together, what we evacuate would be something like 66, 67 megawatts. So every evening we have a deficit of 3 or 4 megawatts. It comes to the same thing. The demand is higher than the supply. And you would see that during the former government, I think a lot of concentration was on electricity. There were no projects that were brought in to augment the water situation, especially in the Greater Banjul area. So as we speak, we have a deficit of 40% of water supply. And this is why sometimes you go to areas that would complain that for the past 3-4 days they don't have water. Some would wait very late in the night to look for water because the demand is higher than what we evacuate from the power stations. And again, if you look at the water network infrastructure, the pipes, most of these pipes were laid in the Greater Banjul area when me and you were not born during the GUC period. So during that time, the population was not as densely as we have now.
Babu Karsi, Qtv News.
Traffic police have begun a serious vehicle number plate operation following the realization that there are individuals designing fake number plates. According to Police Commissioner Lamin Kinkoli, the operation is to catch and prosecute those involved in such criminal activity. Babu Karsi has the rest of that story.
Hundreds of vehicles have been impounded at different checkpoints within the Greater Banjul area in what the police describe as the forging or imitating of the new aluminium number plates, causing a huge revenue loss to the state. The IGP's office, through its mobile traffic department, have been on the operation since Monday to check on vehicles for possible forged or imitated number plates.
Offenses like this, forgery of number plate, that one is a criminal aspect of it. We'll make sure that we forward these files and then for further investigation.
On Wednesday's trip to Denton Bridge, we met up with the Commissioner of Mobile Traffic, Lamin Kinkoli, and his team, who showed us some of the impounded vehicles while explaining in detail the offenses some of their owners have committed.
The problem here is we have two categories of number plates, and they are as follows. The fiber number plates, which was issued by the police, that the plate with the GPF on top and the police crown, the sticker at the right corner up on the plates. And then you have some plates that are made by the individuals, that is without the notice of the police, neither the company assigned to make the new number plate. That is the nylon sign, comfort nylon sign, that are making these new number plates. So you either have the aluminum plates or the fiber plates. But without those, any other number plates, we do pack them. This is the fake number plate. You can see the color. It's a silver color, no coat, no GPF. So, and then the police are not making this number plate, neither the company. Okay. So, having this number plate is a loss to the government and a loss to the company. Okay. So that's why we are on this exercise. Okay. So for this one, maybe because of this it's a government one, even this is not government one. You don't see the GPF, you don't see the car. That's why it is easier to break. That's the Gambian number plate, GPF one. You can see the code, you can see GPF, you can see the Gambia. Now look at this. You see the difference? Okay. Do you see the difference? Okay. Yes. This one is correct, but it's because of the background, the back number plate that is not there.
Some of the drivers we spoke to have also complained that they have made payments for weeks and are yet to collect their new number plates, and police are still stopping them despite having a valid receipt. When I put the complaints to Kinkoli, this was his response.
So there are files that they are dealing with according to the way they come. So there are some people who know that, because today I caught somebody who made payments since on the 5th of July, and then he refused to go. So if you are caught, then when they search it in their system, then you'll find the number plate there and they print it for you. They either stop it or we continue doing it.
Commissioner Kinkoli stressed that no one will be spared in this operation as no one is above the law, and thus call on all vehicle owners to pass through the right channels to purchase their number plates. The Inspector General of Police issued a strong warning that individuals found to have forged or imitated the new aluminium number plates will be prosecuted. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
We will take another short commercial break and we continue with international and sports news when we return. Welcome back again. In international news, Chadwick Boseman, who achieved worldwide fame in the title role of the film Black Panther, has died at the age of 43. More in this report.
Boseman's death came as a shock to many, as he had never revealed publicly that he had colon cancer. Boseman's time in the international spotlight was brief but unforgettable. He starred as the ruler of Wakanda, a fictional African nation with the most advanced technology on Earth. There had never been a big-budget movie featuring an almost all-black cast and director. The film was a critical and financial success, taking $1.3 billion at the box office and getting rave reviews. Black Panther was also the first superhero film nominated for Best Picture at the Oscar. The movie also popularized the Wakanda salute as well as the phrase Wakanda Forever. Boseman died at home, surrounded by family members. The actor was born in South Carolina, his mother a nurse and his father an upholstery entrepreneur. Tributes have poured in from across all sectors of society, including from the movie industry, sports and politics. Among the latter, the Democrats' vice presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, tweeted a picture of her and Boseman, and she said she was heartbroken. That sentiment is shared by all who watched Black Panther, me included, and looked forward to the sequel due to be released in 2022. Boseman graduated from Howard University in Washington, D.C. Following the release of Black Panther in 2018, he returned to his university to speak at the graduation ceremony. To a mainly black audience, he said, "Many of you will leave Howard and enter systems and institutions that have a history of discrimination and marginalization. The fact that you have struggled with this university, which you love, is a sign that you can use your education to improve the world that you are entering." To Chadwick Boseman, we say, rest in peace.
The Japanese Prime Minister has announced his resignation citing health reasons. Shinzo Abe said he did not want his illness to get in the way of decision-making and apologized to the Japanese people for not being able to complete his tenure in office. Maria Mofar reports.
The development comes after rumors about the Prime Minister's deteriorating health were amplified by his 2 trips to a university hospital in Tokyo within a week. From reports by Zhenhua News Agency, Abe's first admission to the hospital on August 17 was for what was described at the time as a health checkup, and he underwent more tests lasting for hours. Abe first resigned in 2007 because of an inflammatory condition he had had since he was a teenager. He is now receiving treatment for the condition, which has to be administered on a regular basis and would not give him enough time to carry out his prime ministerial functions. Shinzo Abe returned to the job in 2012 after a 5-year break. In a landslide election victory, Mr. Abe has a reputation as a staunch conservative and nationalist, and is credited with stimulating growth with his aggressive economic policies known as Abenomics. He said he could not afford to make any mistakes in terms of important decision-making, and therefore had decided to step down. Reporting for Qtv News, I am Maria Mafal.
In sports news, former Ivorian international footballer Didier Drogba has been disqualified from contesting the presidency of the Ivory Coast Football Federation. However, World Football Governing Body FIFA has blown the whistle, asking the football election to be put on hold. More in this report.
According to RFI, FIFA made a request for the electoral process of the Ivorian Football Federation to be suspended. What is not clear is whether FIFA's intervention is because of the appeal by DJ Drogba, who was disqualified by the Electoral Commission on Thursday. FIFA is also asking for the membership of the Commission and minutes of their meetings and will only allow the elections to take place if all the conditions in compliance with its text are followed. At a meeting earlier this week, the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Rene Jabi, felt the environment was not good and walked out of the meeting and did not take part in the deliberations that decided to disqualify Drogba. In rejecting Drogba's candidacy, the organization claimed he was ineligible to run for the position after two of the names he has submitted as his sponsors were ruled not to have the necessary authority to be signatories of his application. Drogba, one of the most celebrated Ivorian personalities and a treasure of his country's national team during his playing days, received support from former teammates like Eugene Domandi, Yaya and Kolo Toure, and others. He has 5 days in which to lodge his appeal. Alhaji Cham, Qtv News.
Before we end this bulletin, let's take a quick look at our main stories. Their maternity at Buyam General Hospital is given a significant donation of medical equipment. Weeks after they were supposed to have started, students at the Gambia Technical Training Institute have said their online classes are yet to commence. The Buntung Kono initiative donates 4,000 bags of rice and sugar to municipal councils to be distributed to the less privileged. We hear about a police crackdown on fake number plates. In international news, African-American actor Chadwick Boseman, who played the title role in film Black Panther, has died. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe steps down citing health reasons. We look back on his career. In sports news, Ivorian football legend Didier Drogba is once again rebuked by his country's football association, this time for the job at the head of the association. That's all we have for you in this bulletin. Do join us tomorrow for the Week in Review. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.